Oh, hello. You must be here for the motivational video. You've come to the right place. Welcome, everybody. My name's Heidi Hinder, and today we're going to be looking at that huge M for, well, it's not for motherfucker, but it could be, which happens to pretty much all of us when we're engaged in our creativity and in life and in making something and starting something and showing up and so on and so on. And that is, my friends, M for motivation. Ugh. Ugh. We'll just put that down, shall we? M for motivation. So before we continue, most of you probably know the drill by now, but if you're new here, welcome, welcome. Lovely to see you. I'm not always in bed. I just thought it kind of, it's a playful way to go with today's theme, and it's quite nice actually. But welcome. If you haven't done so, do subscribe, because I do put out these videos weekly-ish. And also, everybody, please do like this video if you found it helpful, and do comment below on what you found helpful about it. And as far as motivation for YouTube's concerned, in full transparency, the likes and comments really help for the video to be seen by other people as well. It motivates YouTube. So that would be awesome if you were to do that. So let's get straight in there. This is something, this lack of motivation is going to come up for you at some point, but it's what we do when we find ourselves at that place. But the very first thing I will say is, one of the key things to have when we start on anything new is our very clear why. I have done a video about this quite early on. W is for why, because it's one of the most fundamental things that if we have that in place, it's a bit like the atom of everything and comes from that place. And once we have that real sense of our why, it's very anchored in the body. It's very much from absolutely our authentic truth of who we are. It is a guiding light. It's a bit like the light that goes off a lighthouse. When we're lost out at sea, we can go back to our why. And often that can be enough just to shift whatever has been blocking and get us on board again. So understanding your why is really important. And there can be lots of reasons why with our creativity. There could be a dutiful sense of responsibility. It could be something that's not really from our own volition, but we're on board, we've said yes to it. We could be working on commission, so the why will be for somebody else who's perhaps financially rewarding us for this particular project. Ideally, and for a lot of us, the why is very much, it's come from our own desire, our own heart. It's come from love, and it's come from this place of, oh, I have to do this. I'm gonna just, that yes, absolute, fuck yes feeling, basically, which is great. But often when it comes from us, unless we're one of those people, I do feel that there are these two types of people in the world. One is those folk who, for whatever reason, have this kind of iron will. Just get on with things. They do stuff. There's no complaining. There's no muttering about it. There's no procrastination and distraction. They've got a very strong structure to support their creativity, and they just get on and they do stuff. And then there are other folk, and I include myself in this, where that's not necessarily the case. There's a little bit more wavery. The distraction and procrastination come in a lot more. The shiny object syndrome, can't be bothered. And all those places of resistance seem to creep in. And I'm kind of guessing, if you're watching this, that you're probably similar to me at the same time. So hello, hello, fellow amazing beings. Neither is right or wrong. It just is. When we hit this lack of motivation place, it's probably going to come, well, it will probably come when we're in the middle of our creative process. So all of creativity has its own cycle, these cycles that keep repeating themselves, spiraling and spiraling over and over again. So the beginning bit I call the honeymoon honeymoon period when we're excited, it's all new, we're just discovering each other. Everything is absolutely, it's wonderful. We're opening this huge box. We're still very much attached maybe to the fantasy of the dream. We're just going in, kind of tiptoeing in a little bit more, having a look around. It's quite playful, it's quite light. We're not fully necessarily 100% at that, yes, committed place, but we're going on board. And that's a great place to be, isn't it? That's fun. And we're also not towards the end. We've not got that finishing line now in sight that we can see it, but even though we might be exhausted and we might be like, tearing our hair out and haven't had a life for so long or whatever might have been going on, we can see that there's light there at the end of the tunnel. It's coming to an end. The middle bit's not like that, is it? First of all, we don't know how long the middle bit's going to last for. And also, this is when the reality of living a creative life, it really hits us, because the reality is art is work. Living that fullest creative possible life for ourselves is work. It's a discipline. It's quite ordinary. It's a matter of just showing up every day, getting on with it. It's quite quiet. Doesn't have much fanfare to it. It's not glamorous in a way that maybe the dream in our head kind of thinks it is to be. It requires an endurance and a patience and other tools of creative resilience that we build when we take our arts and our creative life seriously. And these are things like, patience. Patience is massively important. Commitment. Showing up anyway. Staying with. And being willing not to know what's going to happen. Allowing ourselves in a way to get lost in this place. To know that hating what you're doing is going to be part of it. Thinking it's a pile of crap is going to be part of it. Wondering why you just didn't listen to your mother and got a job. Became an accountant or a lawyer or something normal. Not be as a creative person. All those voices get in at this point. Doubt comes tearing away. The perfectionist comes in, the one that's comparing everything. I'm not good enough. A real time when all these places can come in. And this is why so many of us, artists, creative beings, we don't make it. We end up giving up. It's like too easily. In some ways. There's not enough of that stamina. Perhaps there's not enough of really desiring and really saying, fuck yes to this is the life that I want to lead. And no one says it's going to be easy. No one said it's going to be like exciting and glamorous all the time. No one said that all these things are just going to come to you. It's going to be like, parties and fame and money and all these kind of things. They might come. There's certainly a physical evidence, aren't they, of some kind of success, depending on what you value as success. But just that staying with, because this is a thing that you need to do, because you want to do, that's how you started off. This is when we get really challenged. It's a bit like the dark night or when things get a bit dark in things like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars. The hero's journey, actually. So you're at this place, can give it all up, try something new, start over, but guaranteed that you'll come to the same place again, because really it's probably got nothing to do with the project that you're working on. It will be to do with how you deal with the middle bit. And actually the middle bit is where it all happens. This is the creative process. The dream bit in our head is the results of it, isn't it? That's great. The reality is we have to chop wood, carry water, just get on with it, roll up our sleeves, stop whinging, and just be consistent and see what happens. So I'm going to offer some tools for you to explore and see if they're helpful at all. So the first thing I'd like to say, though, is this is completely normal. So just relax into that for a moment. That's okay, nothing wrong with you. You're not a bad person in any way. And also that it's important to really honour the fact that you're human, and there's all sorts of aspects to our creative life, not just necessarily the work that we're doing. So check with yourself that your balance of the other aspects of your life is healthy as well. Are you resting? Maybe resting for a while is what actually you need to re-inspire you. Let yourself daydream. Daydream is part of the creative process. It's a wonderful place to be. Make sure you're going out, doing things. Sometimes having a wild night out and having a good laugh, hanging out with mates is just, it's just food for the soul, and you come back renewed again the next day. Allow yourself to be human. Enjoying yourself, coming back to how do I find the joy in what I'm doing again, because I seem to have lost it right now. What's killing my joy? These are good questions to explore. Shifting a little bit around your focus as well. So instead of directly staying with what you're working on, and that's not actually, there's nothing there that's terribly inspiring you or motivating you, then see if you can choose to spend some time working on the things around that. Perhaps you've got brochures to work out for your exhibition, or you've got some blurb to write for something you're sending to a publisher. The more admin-y stuff. It can be really helpful just to kind of shift and do some of those things. You're still engaged in that realm, but you've just taken your focus, your intense beam of focus away from the thing. It's probably like, and you take your focus away, and it gives it a chance to go, oh my God, so much pressure. And in that, there's a little bit of space, and you never know what might happen. Honouring your own pace and rhythm. This is an interesting one, and it's one that from a very young age, we're all kind of like put into the same rhythm pace box, which is a very societal one, kind of preparing us for many hours seated, certain amount of hours working. It's quite robotic in some sense. But as it happens, every single one of us has our own unique rhythm and pace. When we start to become curious about that and begin to find that and honour that, it's incredibly liberating. For me, my natural pace is really, really slow. A bit like a cat. Preferred notion of like, just lounging, purring. Until my focus is going on something, and then I'm really there with that, really show up, I'm really there, get what needs to be done. And then I'll go back to that, relaxing like a cat again. And for me, I'll have certain goals that I'll set myself, maybe daily, usually mainly for the week, that are quite bite-sized really, if I'm honest. And what that means is that keeps that motivation, because I'm not setting myself ridiculous grand goals that I've got to achieve, which would then completely demoralise and probably send my head spinning into chaos. They're quite small, so it means that when I've achieved these, I feel good. I feel like I'm on board, things are moving forwards at my pace, and I've had to let go of the desire or the comparison of somebody else's pace or this ideal maybe I have in my head. This is how it is for me to feel that joy in how I live my life. So become interested in what your pace is and just see if you are working in that pace, or what would it take to shift into that. Go for a walk. Get out of the studio. Go for a walk. Take your notebook with you, take a camera with you. So many great artists have actually found that being out, usually in nature and going for walks, has been one of the greatest inspirations. It's where they've downloaded lyrics and poems and words and ideas. Explore this routine or structure that you've set up for yourself. Maybe sitting at a desk isn't right for you. Maybe it is actually your body needs to be in constant movement, or you need to be in an environment that supports you in order for you to really get on board with your creativity, to keep things moving for you. It doesn't always work just sitting still or working in X amount of periods of time. Explore different times of the day, breaking up the routine, changing around if you've had the same routine for a long time, shifting the place that you've been working at. These are all ways that might just clear whatever it is that's been blocking the movement of your creativity, your creative flow. And movement is really essential as well. We can get quite sluggish. That lack of motivation is a sluggish energy. So make sure you are moving your body, whether it's just getting up and doing a few stretches, but ideally something like, walking, maybe going swimming, maybe doing some yoga, maybe putting some music, going dancing. So you just shift your energy. And also these things make you feel good. They have a knock-on effect, not just energetically, but your body feels better and it's a bit more uplifting. And you could be clearer when you come back to your work again. Your work's not going anywhere. Yeah, that's really important. And like I've just mentioned before, staring at it in disgust and hopelessness is not really going to inspire it to go, yeah, let's go. It doesn't really work for anybody, does it? I don't think so. Perhaps finding a more of a support network, maybe a writers group to go to, business networking, set up something with friends, other freelance creative entrepreneurs where maybe you meet up once a week, you do your own work together, but there's an accountability there. You might want to look for a mentor to help you more with your technique or feedback or critiquing your work. You might need a coach. Hi, that's me. That can help you find the right structure to support your creativity and the stuff that's getting in the way. So finding your tribe is absolutely vital. You're not a lone being here, even if your creative work is pretty solitary. Conversely, the other way around, maybe you do need the solitariness to work and you need to find a way to implement that more and more into your day. Remembering to celebrate what you've achieved so far. This is really vital. If something gets missed in our perpetual doing, not enough, looking to the future, it's so vital to know that where we are it's absolutely perfect, just to kind of pause in this moment, know where to get to, remember. And one of my favourite tips is to bring to mind people that inspire you, other artists, other creators, other business entrepreneurs that inspire you, and to ask yourself, what would so-and-so do in this situation? So this can be quite fun. So I might ask, what would Frida Kahlo do? What would Leonard Cohen do? Probably best not to ask what Van Gogh would do. Though, if you're inspired by Van Gogh, look for the positive aspects of what he might do, not the eat yellow, oil paint probably, or cut your ear off, that kind of thing. Again, just make this quite a fun way to see where you can find your way through this place of, can't be bothered. And so just finally, I do want to say to you that, at the end of the day, no one is going to come and do your work for you. No one is going to force you. And no one is going to punish you if you don't. The only person that probably be disappointed at the end of the day will be yourself. And the thing is with that is that we can end up then being the one that punishes ourselves. No one else is, but we can be the one that's so hard and so judging. I mean, this could also be something that gets in the way. Something I wanted just to mention, sorry I forgot, was just to check if there's anything else that's lingering in that lack of motivation place. Get really clear. You might be at a new creative edge, you might be scared, you might be quite uncomfortable with where you are. Stay with these places. Get someone to support you in just holding a space for that. Sometimes that can reveal a massive diamond in that mud of lack of motivation that you're currently in. But returning back to this place where we can end up judging and punishing and being quite harsh on ourselves, that's not generally a way to get things moving again. It's certainly not a kind way, and it's certainly not sustainable or very healthy, and in the long run it just doesn't work. Instead, know that you're human. Know that you're doing the best that you can. Know that, do you know what, in the realm of things, it doesn't matter if you stop for a while, however long that while is. Want to, at some point you'll come back, or you'll find some support to get back on it again. So instead, see if it's possible to be kinder to yourself, to send yourself a little bit of love, to still be amazed at the fact that you've chosen to be an artist, even if at times it's really tricky, because the world really does need you as a creative genius, you as an artist of your life, you as somebody who's interested in making beauty and making people understand themselves through whatever it is that you're creating. that in itself can be the most extraordinary motivator. Yeah, so it's quite an extraordinary, complex and huge arena to be in. So if you found this helpful, then let us know below. I really do support you as an artist in any way that I can. This video came from somebody inquiring about motivation over Instagram. So, you know, if there's any topics or any areas around the creative process you'd like me to do a video on, then let me know. And I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you find your way through, which you will, where you're at now. Don't rush. Yeah. And I will see you next week.